Yeah, good morning once again, guys. Police Chief Mike Brown conducting a fairly brief press conference this morning, trying to give all of us an idea of what all happened yesterday. This after his detectives spent more than 12 hours at a Salt Lake City home retrieving a small mountain of evidence that he reaffirmed today is in connection with the missing persons case, the one we've all been following this past week of MacKenzie Lueck. And again, they retrieved so much evidence, and they still have a long ways to go in terms of processing it. Here's the thing, though. There's a couple key pieces of potential evidence they don't have. A couple of mattresses. This is a situation where after they were taken, at least led to this home yesterday and started talking with the homeowner, they learned that these mattresses are pieces of evidence potentially that he put on a social media site last week and basically gave away for free. They now want to figure out who the folks are that have those now. But right off the bat today, the chief wanted to stress that this remains a missing persons investigation and that no one has been arrested yet. Not the homeowner, not anyone. However, the chief did stress that the homeowner has been interviewed by detectives briefly after they searched his home, and that he is a person of interest in MacKenzie's disappearance. Beyond that, he wouldn't say much, including whether or not his detectives have found forensic evidence that potentially establishes a prior relationship between the homeowner and MacKenzie. Chief Brown, though, says he hopes to learn more once they can analyze everything that was taken from the home, which included a vehicle and multiple bags full of potential evidence.
Our detectives collected multiple items of evidence throughout the night that are in the process of being tested and analyzed. This will take some time. Last night, several people made us aware of a mattress and box spring that were given away from the residents at 547 North, 1000 West in Fair Park. We ask those who took those mattresses or box springs to please contact the Salt Lake City Police Department at 801-799-3000.
So at this point, they're really hoping to track those folks down, the individual or individuals who came by and picked up those free mattresses that were put up by the homeowner last week on a social media site, and they want to get those, analyze them, and see if they could contain some potential evidence. They believe this could wind up being a critical part of this case. Meanwhile, we also know that over the evening hours last night, Salt Lake City Police did a lot of digging in that backyard. There were canines that were brought in. We're not sure if those were cadaver dogs or not, or whether they hit on anything. Chief wouldn't say, but we do know there was a lot of digging. And then this morning, we actually witnessed a vehicle that belongs to the state medical examiner that was at the home and then left about 5 a.m. Typically, those are not called to a scene unless there is evidence of a body there or some sort of human remains, but they were there. The chief would not confirm whether or not anything of that nature was found at the home. So still a long ways to go in terms of the investigation, but Chief Brown trying to clear up a few things today. No one's been arrested, but the homeowner of the place that they searched for hours yesterday is a person of interest and someone who right now is a free man. Dan and Carrie?
So, Scott, there were a lot of things that the chief would not or could not say. Did he tell us when he might be able to give us another update on this? As they're still processing so much information.
Yeah, they're being very cautious, clearly. They've got a lot. They went in there and really attacked that home in terms of an investigative process. I mean, they brought in everyone you could think of in terms of forensic experts and the homicide detectives and the canines. And so once some of that comes back, and DNA used to be a tricky thing. It sometimes could take a long time, especially with some of the backups at the state crime lab. But there are new advances, things that can really help turn around some of these. When they do get DNA or potential DNA evidence, they can get answers a lot more quickly now than even within the past year or so. So they're hopeful that some of those pieces of evidence will bear fruit for them in terms of the investigative sense here sooner rather than later. But he says as soon as they get information, they'll relay it to us.
And Scott, that Kenzie's family, that emotional phone call that the chief talked about with her father, are they still out of town? Do they still have plans to come to town?
That's our understanding, and that is the thing. I think the chief wanted to stress, and everybody now, especially with social media, everybody's an armchair detective. Everyone wants to comment. People, have their own thoughts and opinions. But at the bottom line, the center of all this is the search for Kenzie, and then what this is doing to her family. And those are the things that obviously the police deal with as well. They're not only going out and dealing with cops and robbers things, the human side of it. And he said this has been very difficult, and at some point it is believed that her family will be here.
All right, Scott McCain reporting live for us this morning. Thanks.